This movie focuses on agency, one of the subconstructs from the personalisation construct within the iPAC framework. You may have seen this or a similar video on YouTube. It illustrates how even very young children, in this case just a baby, grow up expecting to be able to control and manipulate the objects in their environment. And increasingly, these are likely to include digital objects, such as tablet computers and mobile phones. So, from an early age, children like these are learning from experience that they can control and influence what goes on around them. And in the iPAC framework, we refer to this as agency, or the capacity of individuals to act independently and to make their own free choices. Agency is very important in all forms of learning, and numerous pieces of research have shown how students are better motivated, more highly engaged, and more likely to succeed in academic study when they're granted more freedom and opportunity to act independently. In the iPAC framework, we use the agency continuum that you can see here to evaluate the extent to which students are given the freedom to make choices and meaningful decisions when they're using a mobile device as part of a learning experience. In tasks and activities where students have little or no opportunity to exercise choice, we describe this as external, since the locus of control is external to the learner. In cases where the student has been given extensive responsibility and freedom to make choices, we describe this as internal, since the locus of control is clearly internal to the learner. And in the middle of the continuum, we use the term negotiated outcomes to describe exercises where the learner can make some choices about how they use mobile devices, but these are contained within a wider frame controlled by the teacher. So what kind of choices are available to learners when they have access to a mobile device? We've identified three principal choices, and these are place, for example, the ability to be able to work with a mobile device perhaps on the bus, at home, or in the playground, and of course in different places within the school. Secondly, time, the ability to work when you want to. That could be in school, it could be after school, it could be homework. And finally, approaches, the ability to choose how you want to learn and how you want to demonstrate that understanding. So here we're looking at the freedom associated with place. Giving students access to a network device like a mobile phone or a tablet frees them from the restraint of having to work in a dedicated room and starts to question the concept of space itself, as we can see in this clip, where students have made a choice about where they want to work and with whom, in this case, outside of the classroom, in the corridor. In a sense, they've become untethered, and they can effectively learn anywhere they have Wi-Fi access. In this case, the choice they make is a physical one, inside the school, but the mobile device also gives students choice about virtual spaces in which they work, such as their social network spaces, where they might be engaged with other learners or friends through networks such as Facebook, and indeed through playing online games such as Minecraft. Time is another example of freedoms and choices students have when they have access to a mobile device. In traditional classrooms, lessons move at a standard pace, often dictated by the teacher. With mobile devices, the need to move the whole class at the same pace and time is less important. Take, for example, educational video. Traditionally, video is shown by teachers to the whole class at the pace determined by the teacher, not the learner. When students have access to their own personal device, however, they can view the same video on this device, pausing and reviewing the video at their own pace when they need to do so, as we can see in this clip. This is just one example, and there are many others that show how learners can have greater degrees of choice and agency when teachers think carefully about how they can best exploit the affordances of mobile devices. In addition to these classroom-based examples, giving students access to a mobile device also means they have greater control about when they learn outside of school. They will often access learning materials via the device at times that suit them best, if they're granted the opportunity to do so. And finally, the third example is about approaches to learning. In those institutions that have already made the decision to embrace mobile devices as tools for learning, most teachers would agree that the single biggest change they've witnessed is the freedom and, along with it, the enthusiasm that learners show for learning in their own way. And here we're talking about the different approaches that learners are able to demonstrate about how they undertake their own learning. Depending on how teachers structure a learning episode, students are free to choose from a wide range of different activities.
So here is the part I've been working on. We're working on the definition of phases and acids. So I made several pages. So here's the beginning, and then included some colors and pictures. Yeah.
In this particular example, which features students working alongside university trainee teachers, we can see that students had considerable freedom about how they demonstrated their understanding. In this case, students chose to produce their own ebook, but others chose to make an animation and some chose to make a video. And in fact, in a study we undertook ourselves in Scotland in 2012, it was evident that students were using a much wider range of media and approaches to show what they could do and what they understood. So for example, this often included animations and videos produced on the mobile device, but it didn't exclude traditional written pieces of text. The point is, students have more choice available to them about how they undertake and present their work when they have access to mobile technologies. So, in summary, this video has demonstrated the concept of agency. It's explored how mobile technologies, if appropriately used, can give students greater control and choice about the timing, about the approach, and about the outcomes of their own learning.